Ron DeSantis' campaign continues to sputter along, and as it does, he's finding a little bit more opposition from people who previously supported him, but they're still trying to find ways to still like him. One particular case here is one Richard Gansmart, and he's the head of a big restaurant chain, 117-year-old restaurant chain, and he's not very happy with Ron's migrant plan that's actually quite hateful. He didn't know it actually hit his doorsteps. And this is what he has to say in response. This owner of this 117-year-old Florida restaurant chain was forced to fire undocumented staff who had worked for his family for decades after being fined $500,000. The Miami Herald was reporting this. He's a strong supporter of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, but he told the Herald that DeSantis' immigration crackdown has gone too far and that he wants stronger protection for migrants. Yo, pause. So this strong supporter of Ron DeSantis, a big restaurant chain owner, is upset because Ron's plan that he probably supported when he did it came to his effing doorstep. Now it's a problem. Let's continue on with this hypocrisy. Because DeSantis, he did sign this law back in May, and it requires businesses with more than 25 employees to check their eligibility using E-Verify. And Gansmart runs that old restaurant chain, and they definitely have more than 25 employees. So when they went and checked it out, he was quite heartbroken at how this happened. Gansmart was forced to fire 19 of his employees in 2021 after federal immigration officials showed up at one of his restaurants and discovered non-compliant work documents for those staffers. 7 of them had worked for Gansmart's family for decades. It was like family. This is what he said. We think they're legal, but when they had to check, we found 7 people who had been with me for 30 years. What were they doing? Gansmart, they were paying taxes. They had children, grandchildren, and we were required to terminate them. Is what he told the paper. So again, as we always see it, people don't really understand how these things affect everyone else until they're affected by it, because they think they're above anyone. So this whole line about how this superiority complex and I'm backing Ron DeSantis because he's coming after those dirty migrants, until they're your friends, until they're like your family that worked for you for 30 years. He pointed out that they pay taxes. How many Republicans have been talking about how migrants come in here, pay taxes, contribute to the American dream, and then get treated like garbage? Not many of them until they actually have to get rid of them, and then they're hurting and their bottom line, and they're having to look for more folks, or maybe someone else that they don't have to exploit for certain types of wages have to deal with it. I want to discuss this part of it before we go further into the stumbles that Ron DeSantis' campaign is taking. Your thoughts on this first, David?
Well, I mean, look, this thing about a Ron DeSantis supporter, prominent supporter, saying that Ron DeSantis has gone too far. It echoes what we saw a couple of weeks ago, where one of Ron DeSantis' top donors, a guy named Bigelow, who had given like $20 million to a super PAC, said that DeSantis had gone too far and too extreme on abortion. DeSantis recently signed a law that criminalizes abortion after 6 weeks. In Florida, a lot of women don't even know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. And so, Ron DeSantis is getting pushback from sort of more moderate Republicans on that. It is interesting to see that he's also getting pushback from some of the supporters for being too extreme on anti-immigration. And it underscores Ron DeSantis has run a hate-based campaign, hating of women, hating of immigrants, but he does it without the sort of smile and without the charisma of Donald Trump. And so he's paying the price for both of that, lack of personality and policies that a lot of people don't like.
Is it a personality? I mean, yes, it is a lack of personality, but he's been told this is the way to approach, because again, he's the clone of Donald Trump. It's the way he painted himself as he came into, I guess, national politics. But when you have to do that, you probably have to have some kind of an approach to where you believe in it. Who knows where he believes in it? He just thinks he has to go with this most iron fist approach to all these things. And now folks that are actually affected by it, it might illustrate just how much he doesn't understand how it works. It may be for them too, because he's got other stumbles that are happening along his campaign. After he's reconfigured his leadership group, I believe his new chief of staff is someone that's never run a campaign before, and people are beginning to wonder.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.